Hello, Warriors. My name is Jack Stern, and this is The Sword Streaming. We'd like to start this edition off with one final recap of the women's basketball team's incredible season. The Warriors started off their season on an insane 20-0 run before they took their only regular season loss of the year to St. Norbert. That didn't stop the team, as they bounced back in the conference tournament, eventually avenging their loss with a 51-43 win over St. Norbert for the conference title. The win earned them a spot in the NCAA Division III tournament, where they fought a battle against UW Oshkosh before ultimately falling short 42-48. Standout players included NAC Defensive Player of the Year sophomore Caitlin Shadowski, as well as senior Jenna Mace and sophomore Sam Leisman, who were each named first team All-NAC and second team All-Region. The Warriors finished their season ranked 18th in the nation by D3Hoops.com. The track team has seen its fair share of success so far this year, too. Fifth-year senior Kendall Schumacher rounded out the indoor track season for WLC at the NCAA Division III Indoor Track and Field Championships in North Carolina. Schumacher placed fourth in the 200-meter, earning her the first ever All-American designation in school history. Schumacher and the Warriors are only halfway through their season, as they started their outdoor season with the meet for Milwaukee last weekend. Despite a freezing, windy day, the Warriors took second out of the four schools competing. The track team is back in action next weekend at the Hanover Invitation in Indiana. The baseball team had a busy spring break, facing 5 different opponents in 7 different games during their annual trip to Fort Myers, Florida. The Warriors picked up wins against Defiance, Merchant Marine, and St. Michael's during the trip, going 3-4 overall. Highlights included a complete game shutout by junior Fabio Camatani against Defiance, as well as some lights-out offense from the Warriors, who scored 30 runs across their 3 wins. Next weekend, the Warriors travel to Michigan to play Kalamazoo 3 times. The softball team had an even bigger slate of games, facing 10 different opponents in Clermont, Florida during the break. The Warriors finished the week 6-4, averaging almost 9 runs in games that they won. Sophomore Lexi Martin was a big contributor, hitting 5 home runs throughout the week of competition. Defensively, freshman Callie Tyrrell pitched 2 complete games while only allowing 1 run in each start. The Warriors are back in action next weekend in an away doubleheader against St. Norbert on Saturday before they return home to play Lakeland twice on Sunday. While the men's tennis team has had a bit of a break since their last match, the women's team headed down to Iowa for a doubleheader to kick off spring break. The Warriors swept Duboc 7-0 before taking a 3-6 loss to Grandview. Freshman Alethea Schmidt and sophomore Sky Pope won both of their singles matches at 4 and 5 singles respectively, and sophomore Jenna Smith and Caitlin Haskell won both of their matches together at the 1 doubles position. The women and the men both host Olivier Nazarene tomorrow. The men's volleyball team has fought hard all year, but remains winless thus far, picking up a few more losses over the break against Wittenberg, Concordia Chicago, and nationally ranked Dominican, as well as a loss to Edgewood yesterday. March Madness, one of the most exciting events in college sports, kicked off last week. The tournament consisted of its usual slate of 68 teams, which included 3-seeded Wisconsin and 9-seeded Marquette. Unfortunately, both teams from the state lost in the first 2 rounds, with Marquette taking a beating from 8-seeded North Carolina in the first round, and Wisconsin being upset by 11-seed Iowa State in the second round. Other notable upsets included early losses from 1-seed Baylor, 2-seed Kentucky, and 3-seed Tennessee. The Cinderella story of the year is 15-seed St. Peter's, who survived through 2 rounds thus far and faces Purdue in a tough contest tonight. The Bucks have been hot since the All-Star break, winning 10 of their 13 games since then. They've taken down some tough opponents, including the Heat, the Sun, and the Jazz, but they've fallen to the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. It's been good to see the big man Brook Lopez back on the court after surgery kept him out of the lineup for much of the season so far. However, the injuries continued for the Bucks as All-Star Giannis Antetokounmpo had to sit out last week with tightness in his knee. It didn't seem like anything too serious, but it's always unfortunate to have such a key player off the court. Baseball is back in full swing, and the Brewers started out spring training with a tie against the Dodgers before taking a couple of lopsided victories from the Rangers and the Padres. The baseball lockout resulted in a delay to the start of the regular season, so opening day is now scheduled for April 7th, with the Brewers set to face off against the division rival Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. The team opened up ticket sales with a special deal in which 5,000 tickets were available for only $4.14 for April 14th in celebration of Milwaukee. Preseason projections place the Brewers at the top of the NL Central, with the team returning one of the best starting rotations in baseball, and with several of their divisional rivals in a rebuilding phase, their odds of winning the Central appear high. Packers fans have faced a roller coaster of emotions lately. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers agreed to a massive 3-year contract with the team, but star wide receiver Davante Adams was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. While Rodgers' extension brought quite a bit of joy to Packer fans, the Adams trade has left many in dismay. It seemed like the entire internet had something to say about it, with some calling the trade legal robbery for the Raiders and expressing their discontent with the Packers for not doing more to keep one of their top players. While there's still quite a bit of time before the season begins, it will be interesting to see how the Packers fill the hole in their offense that Adams covered when he was here. The choir partook on their annual tour over spring break for the first time since the COVID pandemic began in 2020. They performed 4 concerts and 2 mini-concerts at 4 different Lutheran churches and 1 Christian prep school in Florida and Georgia. They have a 6th concert to finish up their tour coming up this Friday in the Schwan at 7:30 p.m. Free tickets are available online or from the box office by calling 414-443-8802. The concert will be live streamed for those who are unable to attend. Our highlighted club for this edition of the Sword Streaming is the German Club. Aimee interviewed their president, Lauren Nelson. Aimee?
Hi, I'm Aimee Knepel. I'm here with Lauren Nelson, president of the German Club. So tell us a little bit about your club and why people should join.
I really enjoy the German Club. I first started it last year when I was a freshman. I've always had a love of the German culture, the food, the history of it. My family's very German, so we have like an Oktoberfest party, which I very much enjoy, and I just want to bring as much of the experience as I can to students here on campus. We used to have a German class, so it was a really good way to kind of incorporate that into the club. We don't have German as a class anymore, but I think it's really important, especially given like the Germanic background of Judaism, to still have a way to incorporate it into campus.
And when does German Club meet?
German Club, we don't really have like a meeting like this much time, so we get this time. It's kind of I'll plan an event, I'll let people know about the event, and if you want to join, then that's great.
And is there anywhere on social media we can find you?
So far, we do not have a social media platform. Most of the advertising you might see up on the billboards around campus, the electronic boards, or the overall like student life social media pages.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. If you would like to have your club highlighted in the next episode, leave a comment below. That's all for this edition of the Sword Streaming. Thanks for watching. I'm Jack Stern, and as always, God's blessings.